Now we have our box. Let's check our bite. And guys, guess what, man? We're from Texas. Man. Welcome to the show, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Blue Ribbon BBQ, where competition meets the backyard. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk a little bit about competition barbecue, and in particular, competition ribs. Competition ribs. So what we like to do is we like to cook a St. Louis rib. And what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna tell you the difference between a St. Louis competition rib and a spare rib. And what I'm gonna also do is I'm gonna teach you how to trim them. If you wanna start from a big old slab of pork spare rib, okay? I'm gonna teach you how to take chine bone off, trim it down, get it down to where it is a competition cut rib. All right, so we're gonna go in here. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here and we're gonna open these things up. These things usually come two to a pack. And they're big, I call them kind of like dino pork ribs. Big ribs, there's lots of meat on them. So if you're cooking in your backyard, man, this is the way to go. This is gonna feed, one rib is probably gonna feed, you know, a couple of people. Or if you're in Texas, one rib feeds, you know, just one person. All right. So we're gonna slide that in there. So if you can see right here, so this right up here is your rib portion of your spare. And then down here is, this is your chine. This is actually the top part of your loin. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate them, okay? So we're gonna come in, and what I like to do is there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Your fourth rib is always gonna be your longest bone, okay? So once you hit your longest bone, you push up. When you're pushing down over here, it's gonna push up on the end of the bone on the opposite side, okay? So we don't wanna get into that bone. We wanna stay off of it a little ways. Remember, we're gonna take this flap off, but we're not gonna get down into our meat at all. We're just gonna stay up top. Leave a little bit on there. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Remember, you can always go forward, you can never go back. So you're gonna trim that off. And guys, if you're making chili or anything like that, that's where this stuff comes in handy. Keep this trimmings, all that stuff, you can hang on to it, and you can make some great chili with it. Beans, chili, all of it. So this is what I like to do. So I found that bone. Once I found that bone, I'm not gonna cut through the meat. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna draw me an imaginary line, just making a little cut, and I'm gonna go all the way down. I didn't go all the way through the meat, I just made just a little line, okay? So now that I've got my line, I'm looking at it, I've got straight St. Louis, I'm gonna go ahead and separate them. I'm gonna slide this over there. This is how we take a spare rib down to a St. Louis cut rib. So we're coming in here. Remember, we already drew our line. So now all we gotta do is just follow our line. Take your knife, just follow your line. All the way down. Okay. This is Kansas City style. You can take this right here. This is really good meat. These are actually what we call the riblets, okay? You can take this, barbecue it. It's really good. It's really got lots and tons of flavor. I just don't want the judge taking a bite of that and having to spit it out, okay? That's the only reason we're cutting that off. And we're going in there. So, now what we have is we have this nice St. Louis rib. So, we're making this a competition style rib, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in. This rib right here is your #1 rib. It's not gonna go in the box. It's very unsymmetrical. It's just not gonna look very pretty because all of our ribs, we want them all to look very symmetrical in the box. top to bottom, left to right, okay? So we're gonna come in here, and what I like to do is I like to pull. I'm pulling the bone away. So you can see right now, you can see it's all together. You can see right here, the line. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna pull. And it's gonna look like it, kind of like an accordion. Just pulling away. Once I pull it away, I'm gonna hold some pressure on it. I'm gonna come back with my knife and I'm gonna go as close to that first bone as possible. So now what I have is I took all that meat away from that side of the bone. So now all of that meat is on the side of my first bone. Okay? Trimming it up. So now I know this meat down here, we have to have a bone, okay? So we're gonna go down to our last rib and we're gonna give it a cut. So now what we've done is we have this nice, really symmetrical rib. And guys, remember, think of these ribs as that Corvette going down the highway. We want it to ease down there. We want it to get a little bit of that smoke. We want to round those edges, trim everything up. We don't want any of these sharp edges when we come back to wrap these ribs. We don't want anything poking through the foil or anything like that. Trim off any of these little edges, anything like that. So now what we have is a nice, even St. Louis rib. All right. Now we're going in here. So this is a St. Louis rib that we bought straight from the store. We're gonna go ahead and remove it from the package. And again, guys, do this at home. Please, please do this at home. Don't do it at the competition. Sometimes these ribs have been on the shelf for a week or two. You get to a competition and you run your neighbor out of his trailer, yeah, you're done for the day, okay? Trim your meat at home, okay? So, St. Louis, we bought this St. Louis from Walmart. Trimming it up, we're taking that first bone off. We're gonna come in, we're gonna take the last bone off, pulling it like an accordion. We're gonna raise this flap. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of that flap. And remember, guys, everything that I'm disposing of, you're more than welcome to keep. Make a broth, make anything that you want with it. Make good chili, bean meat, anything like that. Now we're doing is we're going back in here again. Remember our imaginary line. We're not cutting down through the meat. We're gonna go in and we're gonna see where we need to be, okay? Now we're gonna come back and we're gonna go in. Just cutting their very edge. Hold some pressure. Trim it. Now we're golden. So now what I'm looking for is these. Now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check them for size. See if there's anything different in these two ribs. All I have is probably this one last bone that's a little bit longer than this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off. Now, we have two St. Louis style ribs that we can season and we can put on the pit. Absolutely phenomenal. So, have you ever been over to your neighbor's house and he hands you his rib and you take a bite and you go, it just won't pull? So there's a thin membrane on the back of all ribs, okay, that you want to remove. That membrane is extremely hard to remove unless you know how to do it right, okay? So that's why I'm here at Blue Ribbon. I've got to teach you how to do it correctly, okay? So our number one seasoning that we use is, again, Bold Burger. Bold Burger is salt, pepper, garlic. It's all right there, okay? Just because the label says Bold Burger, man, it's great on a burger, but it's also great on pork. It's also great on beef. It's great on chicken. It's great on everything. Don't worry about that label. Blue Ribbon BBQ, okay? Harry, this is where we're taking you to the next level, okay? We're trying to show you how to expand out and go up. So we want some grit so that we have something to hold on to, okay? Because this membrane is very slimy almost. So what we want to do, we know this is going on in our first layer anyway. So let's go ahead and use it so that we can remove our membrane. So now what we've done is we've added that seasoning. So we're gonna skip, that's 1 bone, 2 bone. In between the second and the third bone, I just want you to pull up very easy on that membrane. And as you're pulling up, I don't want you to go this way or this way. Don't go down the ribs. Go all the way down to the bottom of the rib, okay? So we're just gonna keep easing our finger down. Keep going down. Keep going down, keep going down. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a nice handle, okay? And we have a nice seasoning. The seasoning is actually giving us that grit. It's giving us that sandpaper so that we have something to grab a hold of. So now what we're doing is now we have a nice handle. We can double up, and all we do is pull it straight down and remove that membrane from the back of the rib. Okay? So the next one we're gonna do a little faster. Remember, first rub. So we're gonna go and give it a little something right there. 1, 2, 3. We're going in between. Raise it up. Pull it loose. This is my pull hand. And then we're gonna go ahead and remove the membrane. All the way down. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move over to our pan. We're gonna start meat side down. We're going in, we're building flavors. Layers, okay? We're gonna get it, we're gonna hit it with a little bit of that 100% avocado oil spray. Hit it there. First layer, that burger. A nice coat. I like to do maybe 2, maybe 3 passes. Now we're going back with that sugar. We're going with that sweet rib, okay? If you can look at that, that's a lot of turbinado sugar in there. So we're building layers of flavor. We're gonna go ahead and give that a little something. 2 coats. Now, we're going in there. We're gonna give it a little bit of a little tingle in the back of your tongue. We're getting it in there with that maple chipotle. That maple chipotle, man, is just what it says. It's just a little tingle, okay? It's good stuff. Perfect. Okay, now we hydrate. We're gonna give them a flip. Same thing, we're coming back. We're going back with that salt, pepper, garlic. Nice even coat. We're gonna come back with that sugar. We're coming back with that sweet sugar. Building flavor, building layers. And top it off, we're going back with that maple chipotle. Maple chipotle. Really, really, really good color on your ribs because you're looking for that really nice mahogany color. And then we hydrate. So what I really like to do here is I'm looking at them. I have a really, really nice color. Everything about these ribs look really, really good. I like my ribs to have a little sparkle. You know, that nice shiny car has a little sparkle in the paint. So what I'll do is I'll come back This is one of them competition secrets. What I'll do is I'll take my salt and pepper and I'll actually kind of give it a little shake. And what if you'll notice is, see that pepper, how it's started to separate from the salts and everything? Your salts and your sugars are a little heavier, so those will go down to the bottom. So we just kind of give it a little shake, just kind of getting a little bit of separation. So now what I'm looking right here and I'm seeing that separation, have a lot of pepper right there. That's what we call bass boat. So back in the 90s, you know, in the old days, you know, there was these skeeter bass boats, and whenever they would go across the water, they would glitter and sparkle. Well, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that glitter and that sparkle on these ribs. So we're gonna ease over, give it a little shake, we're gonna turn, and we're just gonna get a little bit of that pepper out of there. Now we got bass boat. Hydrate. We're going so we lit the pit this morning at 7 o'clock. We let it burn for about an hour. 8 o'clock, these bad boys are going on, and we're getting ready for a 1 o'clock turn in. There you go. We're going on the pit. So you remember this morning we put our ribs on at 8 o'clock at 300 degrees. So we're checking those periodically just to make sure that we get the right color. And right now it's probably it's 9:45. So we're gonna check our color. And man, the color is spot on, spot on. That's exactly what we're looking for. So now what we're gonna do is we take our au jus. Our au jus is straight chicken broth. It's 32 ounces of straight unsalted chicken broth. So we put it in a pan. And what we do is we'll actually put it on the pit so that we warm it up, so that it doesn't have like a culture shock whenever we actually put our meat in there. It's not gonna go from cold to hot. Everything's gonna be the right temp. Man, those look really good. Those are money. All right, so now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come in with some turbinado brown sugar. Sugar in the raw is what we call it. We're gonna give it a nice little coat. We're gonna come in with our Smoking Wizards apple. And we're just gonna kind of drizzle that right over the top of the ribs. You wanna start off to the side of your ribs and then go on top. That way you get the nice even motions across the top of your ribs. Of course, you know, these judges, man, they're really, really particular. So you want everything to be exactly the same all the way across. Now we're gonna come back with it's grade A amber. That's maple syrup. Any grade A amber, the spring tree is what we use, but any of it that's grade A amber, man, it'll work. And again, start off to the side of your ribs, and then we're just giving it a nice little drizzle right over the top. Okay, we've got that. Now, very, very important, Kerrygold Irish butter. You wanna use real butter. You don't wanna use that, the stuff that's 90% oil and a little bit of butter, okay? And this little handy dandy tool right here will change your world. So, this is a butter cutter. If you don't know what that is, it's a butter cutter. We go around at competitions and man, I just cut butter for fun. I just walk around, can I cut your butter for you? I got you right here. It sure is neat. It's just voila, and now you got butter. Instead of having to use that knife and slice everything, because remember, competition barbecue, we want everything exactly the same every single time. So we're gonna put 3 of them on each one. This is going directly on the top of our ribs, and our ribs are set really good. The bark is set really, really nice on these ribs. So with us putting this butter on, it's not gonna drag anything off. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, remember these ribs have been on for now about an hour and 45 minutes. So we only need about another hour and a half, and then we're gonna check them for tenderness. We're gonna check them for temp. And once we hit that that nice tenderness and the bones are pulling back really, really nice, then we're gonna pull them off and then we're gonna glaze them with our favorite sauce. And we're gonna go ahead and back on the pit with these. We're 2 hours in from that wrap, and I really feel like we need to go ahead and check them, see if we're ready to start cutting, because man, it's about time to put them in the box. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, let's get them. All right. So those sugars were starting to caramelize on the outside. That's why you got to really pay attention to what we're doing. So we saved them. We're not mad at it. So what I like to do is I like to come in and put a little bit of sauce on my cutting board. Okay, just a little bit right there. And guys, this sauce that we're using, that Texas mesquite and spice. Good stuff. Of course, guys, we're taking you to another level. You can use any kind of honey that you like. Little squeezy bear bottle. But for competition, we only use orange blossom honey, okay? And guys, when you get this, get you about 5 or 6 bottles, because you can only get it at certain times of the year, okay? So don't wait around and it's like, oh, I missed it. You know, grab you 5 or 6 bottles and that'll last you a year, okay? So we've got our sauce down. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and we're gonna give it a little old bit of that orange blossom honey, okay? We're there. We're gonna go ahead and slide in on our ribs. I like to, whenever I'm pulling my ribs out, I like to turn it a little bit. Whenever I'm turning it, I'm getting that juice and everything that's in this pan. I don't want that transferring over to my cutting board. We're gonna come back in with that sauce. Give it a nice little coat. So I'm not actually touching the rib, I'm actually moving the sauce around, okay? So since that sugars and stuff did kind of burn on the bottom of this pan, I don't want to use that pan again. So let's go ahead and get rid of it, because we do want to set this sauce. We want to put this sauce back on the pit. See that bass boat? See that nice color? Coming back, move some of that sauce around. Again, we're gonna come back with that Texas sauce. Give it a little something on top. Go ahead and slide that sauce around. We don't want it too heavy. We're gonna put it back on. We're gonna let that sauce set. It only takes about 5 minutes. Okay, so what we have here, this is grenadine. This is just, call it sugar water. You can get it on any shelves, any margarita place or anything. It's just red grenadine, sugar water. So we're gonna give it a spray. What this does is adds a little sugar content to the outside, and it gives it that nice mahogany color on the outside. All right, we're gonna go back on the pit for 5 minutes. All right, guys. Remember, we slid those ribs back on. We're only setting them on there for about 5 minutes. We're just setting that sauce. There's not a whole lot of au jus left in that bottom of that pan, so don't leave it on there. Don't forget about it, okay? You forget about it, you're gonna burn the bottom of those ribs. We got sauce, we got sugars, we got all that honey on the bottom. We gotta get them off the pit. Wow. Guys, any day, all day long, that right there is gonna walk. Any day, okay? All right, we got these ribs off the pit. Super tender. Man, I mean, what else do you want? I mean, what else do you want? The sauce is set just perfect. We have nice color, that nice mahogany. The ribs are really, really tender. All right, I use an electric knife. Remember, we're taking you a step above. We're not in the backyard, guys. We're putting this in a box. So it's just a Cuisinart electric knife, big blades. The RPMs on this thing is what makes the difference, okay? It's not gonna chew it up. It's got enough RPMs, it's actually gonna cut through the meat nice and give you a nice, really bite. We'll go ahead and pull that one out. What do you think? Tender? So what we're doing is when we're cutting these, we're looking for a nice consistent cut. Because we like to put 8 bones in the box. So we know those, that one's not going in, that one's not going in. That one's probably not. But look right here. Right here in the middle, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 5 right there. So we can put 5 bones in the box if we want. Put 5 on the bottom, 5 on the top. So what we're doing is we're gonna separate that. And now we know right there, that right there is what we're looking for in our next rack. So we're gonna move these over here, get them out. Clean off our little spatula. And we're going in. Releasing some of those juices. And what I do is I'll check for tenderness. I'll always pull that first bone. And then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna start my slice. And I like to slice from the big end first. Okay, so I know this one's not gonna go, that one's not gonna go. That one's not going, that one's not going, that one's a little immature. Now, what we have is we have our box. So I can come in here, I can touch up these sides, get a little bit off that cutting board. Hit that with a little sauce. So what I like to do is, depending on the bones, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't really like the bottom of these really well. These here look really, really consistent. You can see the bottom of those, yeah, they're kind of jagged a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna set them right there. Give them a look-see. Now we have our box. Let's check our bite. All these ribs over here. And guys, guess what, man? We're from Texas. Man. Welcome to the show, guys. Blue Ribbon Competition Ribs. Right there. Guys, if you like these ribs, make sure you like and subscribe. Blue Ribbon Competition Barbecue. Here we go.